Alright, so today we're going to be going over some topics that I think all young people should know. These are things that I wish somebody would have told me when I was young to prevent the mistakes that I've made in my life. I've been through a lot, and I don't wish anybody to go through what I've been through. All these things could have been avoided with better education. They try to tell you, they try to warn you, but they don't really say much. They don't explain why. So you don't take it seriously until it's too late and it happens to you, and you can't go back. All the things I'm going to say in this video you've already heard, but these things are real, so be careful, make good decisions. You don't want to be homeless, you don't want to be a felon, you don't want to be a single mother, you don't want to be a drug addict. Everyone acts like everything's fine out here. Everything is not fine. So this is the proper warning that I wish that I had. If you're a young person, you know any young people that could benefit from watching this video, be sure to share it with them so that they can have a better life. Alright, so first topic is safe sex. Everyone act like sex is just a good time, it's all fun, it doesn't matter, there are no consequences. I'm here to tell you that there are real consequences to having sex outside of marriage. Both pregnancy and STDs are very real, and they're very life-changing, so take it seriously. One is pregnancy. You got condom, birth control, pull out. All these are somewhat effective, except for pulling out, really, but they're not completely effective. So be smart. Try to use all three. The more precautions that you take, the safer you'll be. If you use condom, she's on birth control, and you pull out, you do all three, your chances of getting pregnant are pretty slim. I recommend getting to know someone. You don't have to wait till you're married. Maybe a 3-date rule or something like that. Just wait a little bit, get to know them. You don't want to just sleep with someone because they're hot, and then you end up finding out that you hate each other and you're stuck with them for 18 years. That's a long time. That's how you get baby mama, baby daddy drama. In that situation, it's the child that suffers. 2 is STDs. When it comes to STDs, you want to always trust your intuition. If you get a sketchy vibe off someone and you think they're dirty, don't sleep with them, don't do it. That's a mistake that's easy to make, but can definitely ruin your life, so be careful. Also, you want to inspect the area, go down there and look around, make sure to look for some warning signs that they might have an STD. They might get offended, but whatever. Are you supposed to not be safe? That doesn't really make sense. If you are worried about offending them, you can just go down on them like you're about to perform oral for a few minutes, and then look around, come back up. They won't know the difference. The biggest thing when it comes to sex is, wait till you find the right one. You want to get married. All young people are faced with a decision if they want to sleep with as many hot people as they can, or settle down and get married. Choose one. Most marriage doesn't really seem too appealing when you're young. So I chose sex, and I ended up finding out that was the wrong choice. People come and go. It's always fleeting. The older you get, the dating is harder as you get older. If you choose sex, you're probably going to end up alone, because that's short-term game. Marriage is a long-term game. Getting married is probably one of the best things you could do for your life. You have a companion, someone that's always there with you, keep you company, to talk to you, support you. It's nice. I think getting married is probably awesome. The last tip on safe sex is breakups. A lot of people get upset about breakups. They've been dating for a while. They get dumped, or they ask someone out and they say no. If you come from the mindset of waiting for the right one, getting dumped, so getting rejected, those things don't really bother you anymore, because if you get dumped or rejected, that person clearly wasn't the one. If they were the one, by definition, it would work out. So you really don't have to worry about it. It's kind of nice. Alright, this section's on drugs and alcohol. This is really dangerous stuff. Drugs ruined my life. I became an addict. It took me several years of rehabs in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, for me to be able to put it down and stay sober. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So, if you know someone that's struggling with addiction, try to have some sympathy, be understanding, be supportive. because it is way harder than you think. A lot of people think that addiction is a choice. These people have never been addicts, so they don't have a clue what they're talking about. For a normal sober person, it is a choice to pick up or not. But for an addict or an alcoholic, it's not a choice anymore. That's kind of what defines them as being an addict or an alcoholic, is that they've lost the ability to control and enjoy their use. Some people can control and enjoy their use, but most can't. You got to ask yourself why somebody would keep doing something that's ruining their life. It doesn't make any sense at all, but that's the nature of addiction. I just recommend you don't even start. It's not worth taking the risk, because it does always become a problem, and it's a problem you can't fix. And that makes it a lifelong problem, and that's a problem you don't want to have. In these meetings, some of these guys are 60 years old. They got 30 plus years of sobriety, and they still have to go to meetings to stay sober. If they stop going to meetings, they're going to relapse and be right back where they started. So it is that serious. So be careful. If you're in your 20s, you're only young once. You want to party, have a good time. I get it. The thing they don't really tell you, though, is that you got to stop someday. You can't drink and drug your whole life. Once you hit 30, if you're still out there trying to party and get messed up, it's not cool anymore. So you do have to stop someday. That's the thing they don't really tell you. So I'm telling you now. A lot of people think alcohol and weed are fine. Alcohol and weed are not fine. Alcohol is just as dangerous as hard drugs, because it's harder to stop. Alcohol is everywhere in this country. You got a liquor store in every corner. You go to get groceries, there's alcohol. You can't even go out to eat without there being alcohol. Just the fact that alcohol is just in your face all the time makes it really, really hard to quit. That makes alcohol just as dangerous as hard drugs. Weed, a lot of people say, well, if I don't touch the other stuff, I just smoke weed, I'll be fine. Truth is, you're probably right. You probably will be fine, but that's not everyone. Some people, there's psychosis, paranoia, laziness. The thing about people that smoke weed, they usually don't have much ambition. They don't have any goals. They don't amount to anything in life. And it's kind of lame. So, weed's not really the best idea either. And actually, weed is actually dangerous too. Weed is a gateway drug. A lot of people might argue and say that it's not, but it is. It was for me, and it is for a lot of people. You can just smoke weed and not touch the other stuff. It's possible, but in all likelihood, if you're being realistic, if you try weed, you're going to try shrooms. If you try shrooms, you're going to try coke. The next thing, you're a full-blown addict and you got problems. Psychedelics also are dangerous. All it takes is one bad trip, and your mind is messed up for life. It happens all the time. So be careful. The biggest thing about drugs and alcohol is don't drink and drive, or ride with somebody that's been drinking. You may have only had a couple drinks. You may only be buzzed, but you may be more intoxicated than you think. You combine that with the fact that it's nighttime and you can't see. It's very likely that you'll run into somebody. Worst case, you kill a child or somebody's mother. Least case, you get a DUI. A lot of people think a DUI is not a big deal, but it is. It can ruin your life. It doesn't take much to blow over. It's really easy to blow a DUI. And once you get a DUI, you're going to lose your license for about a year. You lose your license, you can't get to work. You're basically going to end up homeless. DUI, don't take it lightly. It can ruin your life. So make sure that you always have a ride. Get an Uber, have a designated driver. If you have to sleep in your car for a few hours to wear it off before you drive, it's not a big deal. Just do it. Be safe, because you never know. Last thing is, if you are an addict or an alcoholic, the biggest thing that I've learned that helped me stay sober was realizing that drugs and alcohol aren't going to better my life. It's not going to make your life any better, and that's the truth. So once you realize that, you're probably going to be in a better spot. Hope that helps. All right, so next topic is fighting. A lot of young guys out there, they want to be tough guys. They want to see who's bigger and badder. They think it's cool. That's how you should be a boy. All these things are ridiculous. That's how you end up dead or in prison. So if you want to take that bad advice, think being a gangster is cool, you're probably in for a rude awakening. One, you will eventually lose. There's always someone bigger and badder than you out there. Unless you win 100% of the fights that you get into, which is just unrealistic. It's not statistics. You're eventually going to get beat up, or worse. You never know if they have a knife or a gun on them. Even if they don't have it on them, they can always retaliate, come back after you later. You could just be walking down the street, sleeping in your bed at night. You never know when it can happen. People are crazy out here, so be careful. If you are in a fight with somebody, letting it go sucks, but it's better than prison. The next thing about fighting is that you will get caught eventually. I don't know how many times you think you could beat somebody up without getting caught. Again, statistics, eventually it's going to happen. And the next thing you know, you're going to be in prison for a little while. I've heard prison's not a very fun place. If you don't believe me, ask a felon. There are plenty of felons out here. The thing about having a felony on your record is it's hard to live an adult life. You can't get a job, you can't get a place. You're extremely limited on your ability to take care of yourself. So don't take that lightly. It is a serious thing. So one, eventually you will lose. Two, you will get caught eventually. All this is just coming from a bad mindset that fighting is cool. That's how you be a guy. It's really not. So be smart. Don't hurt anybody. All right. Fourth section is career, not just a job. The reality situation is when you're 18, you're going to have to get a job. I don't know how long your parents would be cool with you staying with them, but probably not forever. So the reality situation is you're going to have to get a job, pay the bills, have a place and all that. The idea sucks. You may not want it to be true, but regardless of how you feel about it, it is still true. So you want to have some kind of plan. Don't disregard it. If you don't have a plan, you're going to end up working at Taco Bell, McDonald's, and you're going to hate your job. If you hate your job, you're going to hate your life. You're going to be absolutely miserable, and you're going to be stuck in that situation. If you're working full-time at McDonald's or Taco Bell, you don't really have time to go to school anymore. So you're really stuck. It's way harder to get out of that hole than it is to be prepared and have a plan before you graduate while you're still in high school. You'd be a lot better off. You want to do well in school. If you want to go to college, if that's the route you want to take. It depends on what you want to do. You don't really have to go to college anymore. There are other options. They got trade schools. You can always learn in field. But the point is you want to have a skill. I'm a firm believer that everyone has a gift, something that they love or something that they're good at. The beautiful thing about the economy in our country is that you can do anything for money. Say this guy likes to build houses. Well, he can build all of our houses. This guy likes to cook. Well, he can cook all our food. This guy likes working on cars. Well, he can be our mechanic. You don't have to be able to do everything. Just do one thing really, really well and contribute to an overall society. And it's actually a beautiful thing. So one, do what you love, do what you're good at. Or two, do something that makes a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, you're probably going to be happier. Three is location. If you want to live in Hawaii or wherever, find a job that you can do in that location and take the steps to make that happen. One of those three options. If you don't believe me, you don't want to take this seriously, go be homeless. Try being homeless. See what it's like. Get the experience. Having a job may suck, but being homeless sucks a lot worse. So after you're homeless, you're going to get a reality check. And you're going to actually be grateful that you have the opportunity to have a job and a normal, decent life. You want a job, a car, boyfriend, girlfriend, apartment. Those things are really nice. So make sure that you take the steps to have a normal, decent life. You don't want to be miserable at some job you hate, or you don't want to be homeless. It's all serious stuff. It's all real. So take it seriously. In the words of Jim Carrey, you can always fail at what you don't want. So why not take a chance on what you do want? All right, this section's on bullying. This is really sad that I even have to say this. I don't understand why bullying is still around. It's been around forever. since our parents were kids, and no one's done anything about it. I just think it's super sad. Bullying's got to be one of the worst things that can happen to you. I can't imagine it's got to be rough. But if you are getting bullied, there's some things you can do. First thing is report it to the school. Tell principal, tell an adult. Try to make something happen. If nothing does happen, it doesn't stop. Sue the school for $1 million. Go move somewhere nice and have a good life. The biggest thing, in my perspective, when it comes to bullying, is that both sides need to understand each other. Most people would say that the bully needs to understand the kid that they're picking on. Be like, you don't know what they're dealing with at home. They could be having a bad life, and you're making it worse. And that's true. That's valid. But I think it's just as valid for the kid that's getting picked on to understand the bully. The truth is, you don't know what that kid's dealing with at home. His dad's probably beating him, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And the way that he deals with it is taking it out on others. Hurt people hurt people. So the reality of the situation is, you might have it better than that bully. He could have it worse than you do. So if you're aware of that, and then that's a likely situation. Hopefully that helps. The biggest thing I would say is if you're getting bullied, don't respond. They're trying to get a reaction out of you. If you don't care, you don't react, they're probably going to lose interest, get bored and stop, and move on. Because they're trying to upset you. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they want. If you get upset, you're giving them what they want. If you don't care, they're going to stop. Next thing is about bullying is that, anyone, it doesn't matter what you grow up in and what you've been through. Once you turn 18, anyone can have a happy adult life, if you work for it. It doesn't matter what you grew up in. Next thing is popularity doesn't last forever. Everyone, while you're in high school, it's status, who's better than who. You think you're hot shit, but once you graduate, nobody really cares anymore. You're just another adult that in the real world that has to have a job, and that's it. Nobody cares anymore, and that's reality. So if you're caught up in not being popular or something, just realize it doesn't really matter, because it does go away. The last thing and biggest thing probably about bullying is if you get suicidal. Being suicidal is serious. I understand what that's like. I've been there. But there are things you can do. Call a hotline, get a therapist, go to a treatment center. I went to a treatment center and I got better. If you are really having it bad, you're thinking about ending your life, don't do it. Reach out for help, because the help is out there. Just have hope that it can get better. If you get help, it can get better. It's really not worth taking your life, just because douchebags are out there. Douchebags are going to be around forever. It doesn't really have to have anything to do with you. Alright, so this last section is extra tips. I think it's things that I think you need to know that don't really fit into the other categories. Your first tip is don't ruin your credit. Your credit is super, super important. As a kid, you may not think it matters. You don't want to take it seriously, but it does matter as an adult. If you want to be able to do adult things, you're going to have a good credit score. So basically, if you want to have anywhere to live, buy a house, get an apartment, buy a new car, get a credit card, all those things require you have a good credit score. So it is a real thing, and definitely do take it seriously. Your next tip is car care. You want to know how to check your oil. You want to know how to jump a vehicle. You want to have jumper cables in your car at all times. Same goes for a spare tire. You want to always have one in your vehicle and know how to change it. If you don't know how to do these things, I'm sure if you ask an older gentleman, he'd be happy to help teach you a couple things. Car care is super important, because this is one of the things that maintenance, prevention goes further than the cure. You want to take care of your vehicle because eventually things are going to break down, and cars are very expensive to fix. Next tip is a survival kit. You want to always have a gallon of water, a couple blankets, and a phone charger. Anything else, just leave it in your trunk. Have it in your car at all times. So if you ever break down, you're stranded, you can't get help till morning, at least you'll be able to make it through the night. Next tip is not even a tip, it's a requirement. It's absolutely necessary that you know how to save and budget money. It doesn't have to be much money. It could be $50 a month, but after a while you have a few hundred or a few thousand, and you'll be able to take care of things as they pop up. If you ever need a tow, your air conditioner stops working, it could be a million things. All these different things come up, and they all do cost a lot of money. So you want to make sure that you have something saved in your safety net. Next topic is marriage. If you're getting married, I highly suggest a prenup. Some people may disagree with that, but with divorce rates being the way they are, you want to be able to protect yourself. If you're a hardworking guy and you own a house and you want to get married, she can end up taking everything from you and not even care. Happens all the time. So get a prenup. It definitely matters. You want to protect yourself. It's not worth the risk of losing everything. Next topic is tattoos. I suggest you wait a while. Get something that means something that looks good. Tattoos aren't really permanent, for the fact that you can always get them removed. But tattoos are so expensive to remove. They're like thousands of dollars just for a tiny tattoo. So think about what you want to get. Make sure, think about it for a while. Make sure it's something you really want to get, that has meaning. Don't get something trashy or stupid, because it costs a lot of money to get those things removed. Next topic is don't sign a lease for an apartment with your boyfriend or girlfriend. I do recommend living with your boyfriend or girlfriend for a while before you get married. It's important to know that you're compatible and can actually live together before you get married and find out it doesn't work. So it's important to live with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your partner before you get married. But that does not mean sign a lease together. Do not sign a lease together. With the likelihood of things not working out and you're on a lease together, you're totally screwed. It's not smart. Don't do it. Let's see. The last tip is always have a backup plan. That shit might come in handy. Peace.